Ghostly apparitions, UFOs, aliens, and mysterious creatures lurking in hidden depths around us. These are the mysteries which baffle, yet pique our curiosity. Will we ever prove their existence? Welcome to Paranormal Experienced Radio. Listen as your host and seasoned researcher Kat Hobson discovers new evidence, bringing us closer to the truth with informative guest interviews, the latest paranormal news, investigation advice, and equipment tips. Kat is the lead investigator with SCARE, located in Birmingham, Alabama, and feels that her gifts were given to aid individuals in distress in what should be their safe environments. Now here is your host of Paranormal Experienced Radio, Kat Hobson, on Let's Talk Radio.
Hello there. Welcome to Paranormal Experienced Radio. I am your host, Kat Hobson, and I'm so glad that you're listening. I am just thrilled because I have not one, but two people that I like an awful lot and I get to investigate with fairly often. They are members of the Tennessee Wraithchasers. Chris Smith is the founder, and Mike Goncalves is a technical guru. He's a musician and sound person, and he has become just an integral part of the Tennessee Wraithchasers also. These guys know their stuff. Chris has been doing this for quite some time. He actually was featured on Ghost Hunters Academy back in the day and decided that that wasn't really the way for him. So the rest, as they say, is history. He walked his own walk, and he has done fantastic with that. And hello, Chris. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Kat. What's happening? What's up?
Hating that I'm going to be missing y'all May 5th. Y'all have such a busy schedule coming up.
Yeah, I know. We got to try to stay busy. We got to keep food on the table and the bills paid.
Right. Well, you know, I am so impressed with y'all, though, because y'all investigate everywhere. And I would be hard-pressed to say if I thought that Ghost Asylum or Haunted Towns was my favorite show, because I love Ghost Asylum. And, you know, that first night that we ever met, Chris, was at the theater in Gallatin. And I asked you about the box. And you were like, really? The first question, and that's it. And I've actually really enjoyed telling people a little bit about that because it's a valid question, and y'all did exactly what was right for you. And then when we got into your Haunted Towns experience, the first one in Gettysburg, I just lost my mind for a moment. It just really totally rocked.
It happens. And we never found ours, actually. Our marbles are still rolling around somewhere in some old asylum.
Well, I figure that I can always just say that, you know, I'm old. You don't have that excuse, but, you know, one of the benefits of getting there.
But no, yeah, I remember you asking me about my box. A lot of times people will ask about the box. Yeah, that was a unique experience. Actually, that was Chasey's idea to build the box. He's a lot smarter than he looks. He comes up with a lot of the stuff that we used to use in Ghost Asylum. And then Brandon, obviously, it was a tag team. I never had anything to do with any of the builds, but you know, it was fun. We got a lot of activity out of it, and it made for a really good experience.
Well, I was really surprised when I found out how the thing in that box was reacting to being caught.
Yeah.
That was
it definitely
creep
seemed
factor.
intelligent. It seemed to know what we were talking about, and it was able to respond to the conversation, which is pretty creepy. I mean, but for us, you know, we were like kids in a candy store.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing that people are like, oh, surely they're not catching spirits. And I just tell them, if you had seen Porter and Doogie's face when they were talking about that box, I mean, because it was scrambling around, there was actual movement as they were carrying it, and they weren't making that up. They were serious. And
oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if I could have taken that box. And then Chasey took it home. I mean, I just was like, no, so brave.
I didn't even like having season 3 having to drive with that stuff.
I'm
Coming
sure.
back home with, I didn't even like having that in the car with me.
Well, you're kind of experienced at having things in cars with you.
Oh, Chris is, yeah. Me,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, now see, I can't hear you well enough to ascertain which one you are, Mike. I'm so sorry. But
Oh no, that's okay.
it's just, you're who took it home? I mean, you're who
No,
drove
I'm
it home?
saying-
Drove it back?
Yeah, I'm just saying driving with the stuff that last season of Ghost Asylum. It was in the van a lot of times with me, after wrapping up an investigation. So it's like that didn't sit well. Just knowing that something may or may not, you don't know if it's in a box sitting next to you.
Yeah, and the way it was acting in that box would have been a little trippy. So
Yeah, no, Chasey got that.
yeah, that was, I don't know. Sometimes I think that y'all are just brilliant. Chasey comes up with all these great put-togethers from the ideas, and then Brandon has all these brilliant thought processes going, and some of the things that he uses have really helped me with my investigations. And I love when I get a chance to talk to him and just say, when you told me this, then I went and did that. And oh my gosh, you should hear this evidence that I got just from your idea. And it's just astounding to me. But I just got asked if y'all could get a little bit closer to your mic because they're having trouble hearing you. And they are absolutely just thrilled to be there with you. A lot of people who have been with us at Ghost Hunt Weekends events are here. And some of the people from some of your fan clubs are here. And
Sweet.
you have a lot of people that just absolutely love you.
Are they all in this chat room right now?
Well, no, because most of the people probably are on their mobile and they don't understand that you absolutely can get into both. You can listen to the show live and be in the chat room from your mobile device. All you have to do is go to letstalkradio.net, hit listen, live listen, and then you'll see the little live chat glowing at the bottom right, and you can come in and talk to them. So
Yeah.
it's amazing, though, because if I post a picture from an event that y'all are at, then you wouldn't believe the people that send me messages about y'all. It's just really fun.
That's sweet. We have
It
a
is
lot of
sweet.
loyal friends and Race fam that come out to the events. We consider those people friends and family. We don't consider them fans because, we've all experienced things together. And we've got a really loyal base of people that come out and hang out with us, a lot of these events. And we're very blessed and grateful to have that.
Well, they wouldn't be there if y'all weren't who you are. I mean, you're good people.
Oh, shucks.
You're very strong. Well, I mean, it is what it is. You are nice. Y'all do reciprocate how they feel about you right back to them. And that's kind of where I go to a lot of events, and people are not always the way that y'all are. And, I was taken aback. Somebody at Scarefest last year, a whole team that I admired a lot gave me signed pictures. And I was just freaked out because I totally didn't think that I would ever be able to get those home. I was crushed that I had gotten them there, right? And people, when people are seeing y'all, they are just like, they're getting everything, every minute they can with you, every picture they can with you, and y'all are so great about that with them. It's fun to watch.
Oh, well, it's our pleasure. It's not something we have to try to do. We really enjoy
it's just
hanging
natural.
out with people. And, yeah, we enjoy hanging out with people and, sharing stories. And, there's been a lot of things that we've learned from, people that come to these events. We're not experts. We're not we don't know it all by any means. So there have been plenty of times when somebody will come with a new piece of equipment or a new idea or, just something new to bring to the table that, really helps us all in our investigation.
What's the most...
cracked the Pepsi, and that was extremely loud.
It's Miller time. But I'm just teasing. But I am so interested. What's the most unusual or thought-provoking investigation tool that's been brought to you at a public venue?
That's a good question. Now that I think about it, the first time I was ever introduced to the Connect system, the mapping, we had never used any of that. A lot of fans bring those things, and I really try to follow those people around because those things are pretty cool. Sometimes you'll get something that, that I think is just a glitch. You'll have like a ghost river dancing or something in the corner.
Yeah.
And sometimes, a lot of these pieces of equipment you kind of got to scratch your head on because sometimes they seem to be reactive and then other times they just kind of do things haphazardly and randomly. So you really kind of got to be careful with all these pieces of equipment. But, the Connect thing, a fan was the first one to introduce that thing to me. What else have people brought, Mike? Do you remember?
There's a lot of different apps that are out there that a lot of people are using, and I think we're on the fence with that as well.
Yeah.
I think we're on the fence with a lot of stuff because you really don't know. I mean, we're not here to say apps work, apps don't work. I mean, who knows? But it's kind of up there with the Connect. Just last weekend at Ashmore, we were following somebody around that was also using one. And for me watching it, everything dances. I mean, does
right.
it not? It's like, I don't know. I mean, I was trying to at least do like, can you reach your arm out? Can you touch my hand? Can you shake my hand? And it's like, it danced the entire time. So I don't know.
Well, you know what they say. You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind.
There you go.
I think they were just very happy. The thing works. It's on point, and they were just very happy that night.
Well, they were just thrilled to be seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we tried one of those. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying apps were a big thing that, I mean, the Spiritus app, the whatever app, I mean, there's so many different things that are out there that, I mean, a lot of people say, so what do you think of this? And it's like, never heard of it. I don't know. Let's try it out, But it's like, we're willing to try anything that people bring out. It's like, why not? Let's give it a shot.
Right? I mean, I'm willing to also. I'm always concerned with whether or not something is producing its own verbiage, like the iOvilus and things like that can be programmed. I'm very hesitant with those, but we have 2 questions. It's actually evolving from 3. And if you don't mind, Brenda started out the show by asking if anybody was, willing to be adopted. So, y'all have that offer on the table. But
what's the inheritance package like?
There is no telling, but I've known her for about 20 years now, and she's a pretty cool person. But
right on.
She also wants to know if you've ever done, I'm pretty sure you have, if you've ever done an investigation at the Chickamauga battlefield.
Me, no.
No, that's a no. I've only actually done one battlefield, and that was Stones River in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Yeah. That was one of the very first investigations. That was before Doogie even came along. That CWC did. So yeah, and you know, when you first start getting into this, you don't always take the right steps. We just kind of walked in there at night. We didn't ask anybody, so I would not advise anybody to do the same thing. You can
Right.
decide that way.
We're in the chat room also now. We see that. Wait, can you scroll back a hair? Let me see.
I can.
Terry says, any advice for us going to Ashmore in
Yes,
September?
we're going in August or September.
What date in September are you going?
We booked it for the Ash Bash, and we've only got about 4 minutes until we take a station break. But I hated to miss your event there because I know that was rocking.
Well, let me just tell you this before you take the quick break, is we have an event announcement that's coming out tomorrow morning, and we might be seeing you soon then.
Cool beans. Really? Well, I'm going to be seeing you soon anyway, but that is too cool.
Yeah, so check out that Facebook page tomorrow morning for that event announcement, and that should answer her question.
Yes, it did.
Hopefully.
She says the 28th. Yeah, I'm the one that booked us for all these things, and she's just like, yes, I'll tell you when to be there. So we're going to be doing Prospect Place Estate too. So yeah, we're excited. We're going to be doing that one in May. So a bunch of us that have investigated together kind of got together, our own little group, and have started going just like all girls going to do investigations and stuff. It's so much fun. But
real cool.
And Brenda said she's a good cook. So there you go. Yeah. There you have it.
There you go. We'll do a trial run with her, see what it's like.
But Terry said it's the 29th, so I guess I'm not letting her give me my updates anymore. Just kidding. But, you know, y'all are, I'm going to be seeing y'all in just a couple of weeks, and that's going to be pretty amazing. That is one of my favorite locations coming up.
So you talking about Savannah?
I am talking about that.
Oh, right on, yeah.
Next
week. Yeah, next week.
Yes.
Yeah. That place is pretty haunted. I've only been there once. It was me and Doogie with Chad with the Ghost Hunt Weekends crew. And the footsteps that you hear running across the top floors when you're down there in the little the barrel section, that's pretty crazy.
It is. It's just bizarre. And yeah, this will be my third time there with Ghost Hunt Weekends. And I am just so excited about it because, well, I'll get to see y'all again, and that's always fun. And I get to see other people that are, participate with them too. And hopefully I'll be able to get some signal to be able to live feed bits of that too. But when we come back, I wanted to talk to you about the Stones Ripper because I went up there with my husband, who is like Mr. Not a Paranormal Guy. Mm-hmm. And we had to go and we were buying some equipment or something. And it was so interesting because he said, yeah, I'll go with you. And the part where the Bloody Gorge area, what is that called, Chris? Where they got waylaid and they were kind of trapped and everybody died.
I think you had it right. What did you call it?
Well, I just called it like a Bloody Gorge. It's called a Bloody something.
Yeah, I think that's it.
But
I don't know.
Yeah, but that place had.
I can't remember. Actually.
Right, me either. But that was a neat place. That was my first time on a battleground, also, and I didn't really anticipate the weird energy that those have.
Yeah, we experienced a lot of lights around the cemetery, around the gravestones. It seemed like we had these orange lights that were kind of dancing around. That was one of the things that we thought was really cool, but we couldn't catch it on camera. It was just something that we all experienced, firsthand.
Yeah, I saw those at that York house. If you get a chance to, you need to go there. It's over in Rabun Gap, Georgia. But we have got more questions in chat, and we're going to catch them when we get back from this break. We'll catch y'all on the flip side. Y'all come right back.
When it absolutely, positively has to be the best. WBHM-DB Clearwater. Let's talk. It's safe to say that we are not alone in the universe. Most of us believe in the existence of intelligent life elsewhere, but where are they? With over 19 years of extensive research, author, investigator, and ufologist Tom Conwell can only provide one answer. They are here. A series of books like no other that contains compelling evidence of UFOs on the East Coast. Volume 1 in the central United States. Volume 2 and the western U.S. Volume 3. Not only has Tom written about these sightings in his book series, but also painstakingly documented each report on a one-of-a-kind UFO sighting map of the entire United States. Could the eyewitness reports of thousands of people be wrong? Read Tom Conwell's They Are Here series and decide for yourself. They have eluded us. They have traveled far. They are here. Order your proof today at theyarehere-conwell.com. That's theyarehere-conwell.com. Coming soon with your support. Preacher 6 is a small-town preacher that is summoned to the big city where he ends up fighting evil in a literal sense. The characters that he meets along the journey are something special and unique. They could all have their own films made about them. If you like original content that is driven by action and amazing writing, you must support the film Preacher 6. No remakes, redos, sequels, or do-overs for us. Let's take film back. If you like Quentin Tarantino-type films, then you will love Preacher 6. Preacher 6 is like Taxi Driver meets Sin City meets The Prophecy. So please be a part of something awesome. Sometimes darkness just needs a few well-placed bullets. Preacher 6. Support this new film at Indiegogo.com and search Preacher 6. That's Indiegogo.com, Preacher 6. Support it, and let's take film back. There are thousands of health and beauty products on the market these days, but how many can you say are truly natural? The name says it all. And Naturally by Darla is here to humbly serve, guide, and help to heal all individuals seeking a more natural way of living. NaturallyByDarla.com provides a wide variety of products and services like essential oils, soaps, balms and salves, powerful mists, and ancient healing techniques. Curious yet? We thought so, and invite you to visit our website, naturallybydarla.com, or call 847-334-1580. That's 847-334-1580. naturallybydarla.com. Humbly serving for over 10 years. Naturally. Let'sTalkRadio.net.
3 minutes after the hour, and you are back with Paranormal Experienced Radio. I'm Kat Hobson, your host, and I am joined by Chris Smith and Mike Goncalves of the Tennessee Wraithchasers. And we have got so many questions coming in chat right now. If you have some for them, just log in there. It's letstalkradio.net, and you will see the live chat box down there at the bottom right. It's very bright. It's tough to miss. So I'm going to hit some of these questions if you guys are cool with that.
Yeah, bring it on.
All right.
Do it.
Well, the first one is, what is your bucket list investigation, the one you haven't done but would really like to?
I would say in the U.S., for me, would be Alcatraz would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
If we can travel overseas, Egypt, and the pyramids, all that would be mine. I don't know
that would be pretty amazing. How about
in
you?
the States, really, just down the street at the Bell Witch Cave. I've always wanted to go there. Still haven't got to do that yet. That's probably the top of my bucket list. And like I said, it's only about 45 minutes from where I live. But it's just one of those places it's really hard to get in there and investigate. You can go get a tour, but the guy that runs it, or I'm not even sure exactly who runs it, but we've tried to get in there several times with the show and personally, and it's just one of those things where, I don't know, for whatever reason, we've always had a hard time getting in there. Overseas, I've always wanted to go to Europe, over there to Ireland, maybe in England. There's not even one place in either one of those because there's so many locations overseas in Europe that, castles and underground tombs and just all kinds of different historic places that I would love to go. Plus, I just want to go to Europe. I think it'd be cool.
Me too, right? Well, one of the guys from Hollywood Ghost Hunters, Rick McCullum, and I were talking, and he goes to Europe every year. He goes to Scotland. And he's going to those Edinburgh vaults.
Oh, yeah.
I'm dying to see those. And the Paris catacombs. It would be a toss-up between those two. But
tell him to give us a call, and we can join him.
We'll do that. But
some sidekicks.
You know what?
Mike actually choked one of the members of the Hollywood Ghost Hunters up at Scarefest this last time. I believe it was Leatherface, wasn't it, Mike?
He wouldn't take the shot glass. He offended me. It was a love choke. It was a love choke. He understood.
Yeah, he had grace upon Mike because he could have snapped him like a twig at any moment, but.
Yes, he could. I don't really do horror, so I don't know unless I've met them in like haunted houses that I've worked at and that kind of thing. Because Atrox, which is in Birmingham or Leeds, Alabama, brings in all these guys to, do a weekend each October, different weekends. And right. I did meet the Leatherface gentleman, and also Freddy Krueger drew them in like nobody's business. And it was fun to watch all of them interacting when they did. So we have another question, and this one is pretty good because y'all are very open about your faith, which is one of my favorite things about you. And you've always been. You pray for each other. You pray for safety, and you offer praise when you come out. And Laura says, being men of faith, do you have to deal with loved ones who are against what you do? And she says that she does on a daily basis. Do you have any advice?
Oh, for myself, I can't give you a good answer because I don't deal with that. My family they're totally supportive, thinks it's awesome what I'm doing, and they love it. They watch the shows, and they've never been to an investigation or anything yet, but I don't have to deal with any kind of backlash from friends, family, people at my church or anything. They're all supportive of me. We were talking to the pastor of my church just a couple weeks ago, and he's like, man, I need to go on an investigation with you, man. That's just so cool. I want to see that. So
that's cool.
Don't have to deal with any backlash, really. Fortunately.
Well, that is fortunate. How about you?
Yeah, no, same with me. I'm blessed. My family, very supportive of me and Brandon, because we share the same parents. And, they've always supported us and, are proud of us. And, I think it intrigues them too. And I think, I'm a part of a church. I'm a member of Cedar Grove Missionary Baptist Church. And it's always been, known what I've done, and people are just interested in it. And I think it's just because they know my take on it. It doesn't, clash with my belief system or
Right.
their belief system. It's just something that's unknown to me that I still, I'm not out here putting labels on anything or, saying that, hey, this is 100% what we're dealing with out here. Whether it be, this is a poltergeist or this is a person, this is grandma. I don't believe that. I believe that there's an explanation. I just don't have it yet. I have my own
Right.
theories and thoughts about it. But, they respect that. And I've just been very blessed about that. I have people that see me at church. A lot of times I have to miss because a lot of these events are on the weekend, so I don't get to go to church as much as I'd like to. But then whenever I come back, they're all crowding around me like, hey, what's been going on? Where you been? Tell us everything. Give us all the details. So, like Mike said, I can't give any advice on that either because I've always had a lot of support from church and family. So,
I mean, if they know the kind of person you are, I mean, that nobody can take that from you. And I think that's a big part of like what Chris was just saying. What I deal with is they know who I am. I've been going to the same church for 15 years, and they know me. I mean, I
Right.
play guitar on a Prince team. If I'm in town, I'm at church, and it's like they know who I am. They know my heart. And so I don't know. If somebody's giving you some backlash or bad vibes, maybe it's, I don't want to say do away with the person if that's a family
Well, maybe
member,
it's their
but, I mean,
issue.
yeah, maybe they're the ones dealing with the problem. And it's like, again, there's, I don't know. I don't want to get in too deep. I don't want to.
well, you got to think about it this way. The Bible was written thousands of years ago. Who's to say that, nobody knows exactly what it is. I think for me, it's all about faith. It's all about a feel thing.
Yes.
I don't go 100% by the Bible. I don't go 100% about what any man tells me because, we're just man. God is God, and he's a big God, and, it's a feel thing with God. You don't just go outside and talk to him like I'm talking to you. You got to talk to him from the heart. And as long as I think you have it fixed with him and, it's a faith-based thing, I think that, what's wrong with it? Because we don't have all the answers when it comes to spiritualism or religion or ghosts, goblins, whatever it is. This is all theoretical.
Yes. And, I get so tickled when people, they know what everything is. And you run into that, especially when you're working with psychics who are positive that they're right on point with everything. And a lot of times they are. But I don't think that anyone knows entirely. I don't think you can know entirely what you're dealing with when I'm not psychics, mediums. I'm sorry. But yeah, because things can deceive and you don't necessarily realize that you're being fooled, I think, sometimes. I would never say that I was expert, or I don't really think there are tremendous experts. There's people I would come that have more knowledge and experience. But, Chris, you have more knowledge and experience. You've been doing this for a good while, and you've been exposed to a lot of people, just through your career too, that have a lot of, more experience. I mean, there's just so much to learn, and I agree, God is too big. You can't just blow off what you're experiencing and say everything is a negative.
Yeah, and when you say experience, it's not the kind of experience that you get, at a job that you've been working for, 20 years.
Right.
It's experience. It's what you experience while doing this because, it doesn't matter how many experiences you have. It doesn't necessarily make you more of an expert per se, because at a job, you build up experience as you work there, and you become more knowledgeable about it. With this field, sometimes, you'll have 4 experiences and think you know everything. And then on the 5th one, you're like, wait a minute, now I got to go back to ground zero. And it just kind of changes everything. So I think this field is definitely evolving in how we try to communicate and some of the things that we try to implement into investigation. But as far as being experienced, it's a whole different meaning to the word.
Yes.
Really. I mean, I feel.
I agree.
Yeah,
because some things just take that left turn at Albuquerque.
Even though by evidence-wise, I mean, we've been to many events where we've had people get, great EVPs, stuff we haven't even gotten, and it's their first time there, or it's a 12-year-old kid, so it's like there's no, I don't want to say right or wrong way to do things. I mean, it just seems like a lot of it is right place, right time, maybe right question, right person there. But definitely,
I agree with that. When you go, because y'all are like me, you just absolutely love Old South Pittsburgh. And when you go there, do things still change there for you? Because you've investigated for the show, you've investigated personally for years. Does it still change on you?
I don't know if it changes. For me, it's always active. It's either, and a lot of things you hear with your own ears. It's not just EVPs. It's disembodied voices. They move things. They knock on things. They knock on you sometimes. Some more than others. And we've gotten a lot of visual evidence there as well. I think that's why we love that place, is because every time we've been there, we get something. It's just something about it. I don't know if we have a connection to it, but even when we filmed there, that place was super active. Chasey and I were up on the third floor, right around the nursery wing, and we got those 3 loud knocks on the door, and immediately opened the door, and there was nobody behind the door. It scared the heck out of our cameraman,
right.
Alex. We tried to get him on camera to do an interview, but he doesn't do on camera stuff. He's strictly behind the camera kind of guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really, that was just that right there. We all kind of looked at each other, and I looked at Alex, and I was like, "You heard that, right?" And he was like, "Expletive, yeah." And so I was like, I told you, man, this place is crazy. I was like, you didn't believe me, but now, when you experience something that blatant and that, just outspoken or whatever word it is I'm looking for here, it just comes out and communicates with you. And it never disappoints. It's just like, you'll have other places where you'll experience things, you'll hear something or you'll see something, but this place, it just comes right out and says hi. In a sense.
You're right.
Oh,
I agree with that.
Harry on the chat room says you never leave OSPH without at least a personal experience, and that's very true. Every time we were there, we've been there before just to not show film, but just do some promo stuff for ourselves, and we've always experienced something there.
That's just so cool. I had my very first serious K2 conversation there, and I didn't even realize that I didn't initiate it, and it was up in the nursery. So, and it lasted so long that I actually ran out of questions. I was just like, well, I'm just going to be walking around here, and while I'm here, you can come too. You can stay with me, but I don't know what else to ask you. And it was the coolest thing ever. Yeah, because it's the first time. That is a neat location. I hope that they get their ducks in a row soon so that other people can experience that. I know they're working on it. But
I know. It's one of the things I think you don't know what you got till it's gone, or gone for at least a little bit of time and not knowing. Because, I know we've gotten a flood of messages. What's going on? And it's like, I wish we can tell you.
Right.
But I don't know. It's so close to us. It's only a couple hours away, and it's like you take it for granted. There's so many times you want to just pop in there again, and it's like, oh, no.
Right.
Now we can't, So I don't know. I feel positive about it. I think it's gonna come back one day.
Well, I am pretty sure that it will too, because there's just so much love for it in the paranormal community that, it's just, hopefully it's going to be back sooner rather than later too, because so many people have it on their bucket list. It's a shame to not be able to go there. And speaking of that, Laura says you've investigated, and we've got about 5 minutes till chat. So if you need to, we'll take it over to after the break. A break. But Laura says you've investigated a lot of places. What is your most memorable experience?
Mine would be the Exchange Hotel in Gordonsville, Virginia. We did an event there. I think it was end of November, early December. The only time I've ever had a full body apparition, and I wish I had a GoPro on my head so I could have at least recorded it. But long story short, we were doing a Q&A, and I went upstairs to go grab Brandon, and I knew he was upstairs setting up his cameras for his experiment later on that night. And walking up the stairs, you can see through the railing, and through the left and through the right there's bedroom. And I see him walking around to the left, not his face, but I just see walking around with his hands out like he would be walking with his cameras, because he also has a Kinect. And so I walked right into the room to grab him, and I was like, "Hey, Brandon." And I walk in, and there's nobody there. And he answers me from the room on the other side. And it was like one of those, you can always talk about it, read about it, see photos of it, but it's like you just get in shock and just freeze up. And I was like, and he's like, "What's the matter?" And I was like, "I just saw you walking around in this room." And, so, I mean, it freaked me out, but in a cool way. So my heart was racing. And at the same time, Brandon's pissed. He's like, "I got my cameras in the wrong room."
That would be my reaction.
He was still late for the Q&A because he brought all his stuff over to the other room. But that's my most memorable experience, and I wish I had something to catalog for it, but I don't. It's just my own experience I can take with me and tell the story.
Sometimes
about
those
it,
are the best, right?
Yeah. Now that was, and it was in the middle of the day. It was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 p.m., light out.
Yeah.
So it was no crazy shadows or anything like that.
That's when I've had most of my stuff at Old South Pittsburgh. I was doing a live show up there a while back, and I had the hospital to myself. Just me walking around for like an hour and a half with my camera up, and just amazing. Just amazing. The stuff that happens there that you don't even realize really is going on, because when you're there at night, it's hard to see it. But when you're there during the day, it just is like, oh, yeah.
You can see it.
Absolutely.
It's like, you're kind of like at night, I think it's like your guard kind of goes up in a way, in a sense, if that makes sense. And it's like during the day, you're just kind of, you just feel a little bit more free. You're not even thinking about investigating. You're not that opened up. So it's like, is that a shadow? What is that? And it's like, but to see something, hear something at that time, I don't know, not thinking about anything. I think that's when you're probably the most open-minded about it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, because I was just going through the places that I'd only seen at night, and I wanted to see them during the daytime. Right. It was astounding, and I got activity. It was pretty cool. And because the first time I was over there, I got locked into the dining area of the cafeteria part as you go through where the big double doors are. Freaked me out, because when I walked by, they were open, and I was the only person down there. So I was paying attention from that point on. But we are about a minute out, maybe 30 seconds out from our next station break. And, this is so much fun. I am enjoying y'all. Thank you so much. We will be back right after this, and we are going to have some more questions. So y'all come on back.
In a world of many voices, there's just one that needs to be heard. Yours. Join the conversation at letstalkradio.net. Shopping, dining, beautiful lakes and rivers, and a monster? Welcome to Braxton County, West Virginia. Centrally located, Braxton County, West Virginia is the ideal place to visit. Natural beauty and recreation abound with 2 beautiful lakes for easy kayaking and canoeing, and many hiking trails. Did we mention the Flatwoods Monster? That's right. Visit Braxton County, West Virginia's Flatwoods Monster Museum. And not only learn about the Flatwoods Monster, but walk in the same footsteps as the people who witnessed it. Nearly all of our attractions can be found within a few miles of Interstate 79. Visit us online at braxtonwv.org. That's braxtonwv.org. Braxton County, West Virginia. Center yourself here. In 2012, Keith Linder, after successfully obtaining a management position at a prestige healthcare company, decides the time is right for him and his girlfriend to move in together. That's putting things lightly. Weird things begin to happen within days of moving into the modern suburban home. The horrors they witnessed and desperately tried to fight off would end up putting them at the odds with members of the paranormal community and themselves. This gripping story, told from the house occupant's point of view, not only lists tales, but also includes pictures, video reenactments, commentary, and audio of the events being reported. Author Keith Linder does not ask you to believe him. He only asks you to listen. The Bothell Hell House by Keith Linder, now available on Amazon. The book, The Bothell Hell House. The author, Keith Linder. Order yours today on Amazon. Real people and not pre-recorded and regurgitated radio. WBHM-DB Clearwater. Let's talk.
Hour, and you are back with Paranormal Experience. I'm Kat. I'm your host, and I am joined by Chris Smith and Mike Goncalves of the Tennessee Wraithchasers. If you have questions, they're watching chat. You need to get in there. It is letstalkradio.net. You will see the live chat, bright orange and bright green, my favorite color, actually. So get down there and click it. You can sign in, and you can be a mysterious guest if you want to. You can sign in with your Facebook. You can just join Rumble Talk. You can do whatever floats your boat, but you can get your questions in there and get answers. So
Do it.
Yeah, right? Why not? Because this is a golden opportunity to find out what got y'all into this, how you wound up doing it so well, and how did you get your first show, Chris? That's something that I've never heard you talk about.
How did you get your first show?
Yeah, right?
Well, actually, it was kind of weird because, I've always been into graphic design and marketing. That was, what I did for about 8 years before we started filming. And, basically my job was to try to make us look as cool as possible. A lot of green smoke. A lot of air.
It works. Let me tell you, it definitely works.
And, we tried to be different than everybody else. We tried to come up with a name that was different. We wanted to try to raise questions, because nobody knows what a wraith is. I mean, some people do now, but back when I first found that word, because everybody was, and I'm not knocking anybody. So, nobody send me death threats, but everybody's the Paranormal Research Society of so-and-so or the ghost hunters of this or that. And I was like, you know what? I want to do something a little different.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that word, and then I looked up the meaning, and I was like, we got to use that word. And, with the look and then the logo, the branding and everything, I think people were just curious about, well, who are these guys? They're obviously something, So I think that combined with just, kind of the way we are, our chemistry with each other, living in the South. We're a bunch of rednecks. We're a bunch of country boys. We kind of have an unorthodox way of doing things. And I think people kind of, I guess word kind of got around, and eventually we got a phone call from Tremendous Entertainment. It's a production company based out of LA, and they were like, "Hey, do you guys have you ever thought about doing a non-scripted reality show?" And I was like, "You know what? As a matter of fact, we have." And so they came down. They shot a sizzle. And basically, a sizzle, for anybody who doesn't know, is just like a little short 7 to 10 minute video that they shop around different networks. And Animal Planet was the first one that bit on that. And we shot our pilot episode with Ghostland, Tennessee. It didn't do great on Animal Planet. I mean, it did all right, but not enough for, a whole season. But luckily, Destination America, they saw it, and they're like, we got to try this on our network. And for whatever reason, it did really well. And that led into Ghost Asylum. We did 3 awesome seasons of that. Very successful. Went to a lot of places, saw a lot of things. And then from that, we kind of decided we wanted to kind of branch out and do something different from asylums, because we had already hit like over 30 of those places. So we're like, all right, we've done enough asylums. Let's go to towns. Haunted Towns was born. And then, here we are.
I love that show, by the way. I loved the asylums too, but I love Haunted Towns because every town has a story. And,
True.
Where you might run out of the asylums like you talked about, you had done so many, you're not going to run out of towns that have a haunted experience. And
I know.
That's the coolest part, because I love seeing what y'all find. Y'all have, your research is so good. Your knowledge base when you get there is so good that you're asking fantastic questions. But I just love your work. I really do. And
yeah, and we have a lot of production people to thank for that too. They do a lot of work on the research end. They help us out a lot, and they have a lot more resources than we do. So it's kind of a collaborative effort. We all get together, put our heads together, and, we all come up with some good questions and research the history of the places. And, we all kind of tag team it. And it's really cool because with towns, you have multiple locations. You're not just confined to one location, and it all tells a story, and it all has connections within, each location. So it's pretty cool. And it's not filled. Not every location is filled with asbestos and mold and feels like a refrigerator. And,
That's a definite plus in my book. But we have another question, and this is Laura, and she says, what we do is serious business, but it's also about having fun, as we have seen many a time. But tell us about some fun Tennessee Wraithchaser moments, some pranks, some bloopers. I know that you absolutely have to have dozens upon dozens of those stories.
How long is this radio show for?
Right, as long as you want it to be. If you're going to tell us great tales.
I don't know, from Ghost Asylum, I know Haunted Towns, the prank they pulled on me, but I don't think, I know throughout Ghost Asylum, stuff went on all the time, but I don't think they aired it. But I don't think there's ever an investigation, ever an outing or anything without something going on. But I know for me that episode that they showed it in Bisbee,
yeah,
I mean, TV or no TV, that would have made me wish I had Depends on, I guess. I guess it literally scared the hell out of me. I mean, they showed like 2 minutes of it, if that, on TV, but I think it was like a 15-minute fiasco that went on with that. And I think they all had a hand in it, but props to Doogie on that for keeping his composure in the shower and making it sound real to me. But I think there's just too many to list. Oh, all right, Chris got a good one here for you.
Let her rip.
Oh, There's so many. I mean, that's kind of our thing. If we're not having fun or playing pranks on each other, then we just wouldn't be who we are. I don't think we would even be on television. Because what she said is very true. That's our motto. What we do is serious, but we never take ourselves seriously. Because you can't in this field. It's just not
true.
This is the wrong field. If you're too serious, then you're not going to get anywhere. But and I don't think I've ever actually told this story. I've told a lot of stories about Preston Castle when I used to, I found an air horn. I got Porter with it a couple times. I heard him squeal from the air horn, and then I got them all with an air cannon at the end of that episode. And I think that one was even on a blooper reel somewhere. That was a good time. But the thing that I'm thinking of right now, we were investigating a fort. I believe it was Fort Delaware. And it's just an island. And there's a huge moat that goes all the way around the fort. And in this moat are all these nutria rats. And basically it's just a giant rat. And they were all over the island. But we had a break, and I was going to use the restroom, and they had a facility outside of the fort. It was like a more modern thing. So I was walking out there to use the restroom, and Chasey was, I don't know, probably about 100 yards behind me. I think he was coming to do the same thing. But I got attacked by one of those rats. It just, like, I saw it over there by the moat, and it just looked mischievous. It had this look in its eye, and it was sitting still. But for some reason, I knew it was going to come at me. And it, like, charged me. It started running full speed right towards me. And
my gosh.
I, like, hurtled over this thing. It scared the hell out of me because it started chasing me. I ran in the bathroom, and I got in the stall, and I jumped on top of the toilet, and I was just like a little girl. And Chasey walks in with this look on his face because I guess it had already left. And he's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
I can just hear him.
I was like, "Dude, did you just see that?" I was like, "That freaking nutria rat tried to eat me, bro." And he was like, "Which one was it?" And we both went outside, and I spotted the little guy, and he was still over there looking all creepy beside the moat. And Chasey just walks right up to it and kicks it in the moat.
Oh, my gosh.
And I don't know how he got out either because, I mean, this moat, I mean, it was a good, like, 4 feet down. And it was just water all the way around it.
Out.
Oh, my God. It was funny because the funniest part was him telling everybody about it, and he took great pleasure in that. But, yeah, that's just one of the many funny things that goes on behind the scenes because we're always having a good time, and we all have our little quirks and things that we do. So it's a constant. I mean, you got to be on guard all the time.
No doubt. I got to tell you though that I would have been standing up on the commode screaming too. Because
yeah, I don't do giant rats.
I don't do any rats, but I'd rather do a rat than a snake though. So
we will say though, having a good time. Even this past weekend at Ashmore, we're having a good time. It seemed to be a slow night in our one location of the building we're at. And so, conversations happening, we're laughing and we're cutting up. And as we were laughing, the group of us, and I think there's maybe 8 in that group at the time, that's when we started getting a lot of activity. Meters were going off, the ladies connect, not to dip back on that, how we feel about it, but everything was starting to come alive as we were laughing, and it died down. Then we had to throw into fake laughs just to see if it came back. But it seems to be a lot of times that when we're having a good time and kind of ignoring what's there and just laughing amongst ourselves is when we're getting the most activity.
Do you think that's because they're enjoying you, or they want to be they want to be the attention magnet?
I think it's probably a 50-50. They want the attention, and they're probably looking at us like, what a bunch of idiots in my house. But I think it's probably more of the ignore them, because they're used to, I'm sure, a lot of these places, people coming in, asking the same questions. Here's somebody coming into my place, asking me to knock on a wall, asking me what my name is, and kind of ignore them and do our own thing. And, it helps.
It does help. And, we're about 60 seconds out from our top of the hour news break. And, this is getting so much response because everybody feels that way. Yeah, Laura says that the more laughing and joking you do, the more activity you get. And I agree with that. It's like, I think it's but everybody that comes here is here to see me. What are you doing? Kind of a thing. As well as they're like wanting to get in the conversation. So with that being said, we are going to have so many more questions, and we are going to be right back after this news break.
Right on.
We pause for station identification. It's the little cinder block building on the north side of town with the towel behind it. WBHM-DB. Let's talk.
At the ready, I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. U.S. military leaders weighing options after a suspected chemical attack outside Damascus, Syria.
The Pentagon already has a guided missile destroyer in position off the coast of Syria. The USS Donald Cook has roughly 75 Tomahawk missiles on board and 20 surface-to-air missiles in the event that Russian warplanes attempt to challenge it.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. Vice President Mike Pence met with top Pentagon officials this afternoon. Confirmation hearing set for later this week for Secretary of State hopeful Mike Pompeo. Excerpts of his statement before the Senate have been released.
Secretary of State designate Mike Pompeo says he's willing to work to fix the policy around the Iran nuclear deal if the Senate confirms him. According to his opening remarks, Pompeo will say he's willing to work to fix the JCPOA and confront Iran on other fronts. He says that years of soft policy towards Russia is, quote, now over. On North Korea, Pompeo says President Trump isn't one to play games at the negotiating table, and he says he won't be either.
Fox's Rich Edson at the State Department. A Missouri State House committee expanding its investigation into Republican Governor Eric Greitens after a woman testified he was physically aggressive during an unwanted sexual encounter and threatened to distribute a photo if she went public. She claims he slapped and grabbed her during their affair in 2015 before he was elected.
The testimony outlined in the report is beyond disturbing. To that end, the Special Investigative Oversight Committee voted to continue its work to gather additional information that comes to light.
State House Speaker Todd Richardson earlier tonight, Greitens said the relationship was consensual and called the investigation a witch hunt. The committee is made up of 5 Republicans and 2 Democrats. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Are you hiring, posting your position to job sites and waiting for the right people to see it? ZipRecruiter knew there was a smarter way, so they built a platform that finds the right job candidates for you. ZipRecruiter learns what you're looking for, identifies people with the right experience, and invites them to apply to your job. These invitations have revolutionized how you find your next hire. In fact, 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. And ZipRecruiter doesn't stop there. They even spotlight the strongest applications you receive so you never miss a great match. The right candidates are out there. ZipRecruiter is how you find them. Businesses of all sizes trust ZipRecruiter for their hiring needs. Right now, our listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/newscast. That's ZipRecruiter.com/newscast. ZipRecruiter.com/newscast. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Council.
The lone holdout border state now committing to sending National Guard troops to the southern border.
California Governor Jerry Brown says he will send 400 National Guard troops to the border to, as he put it, supplement staffing in the ongoing program to combat transnational crime. 250 Guard members are already a part of that program, including 55 who are at the border. Brown says this work is important and notes the Guard has been assisting in the state in 2006 and 2010 when both Presidents Bush and Obama requested troops. But he adds this deployment is not part of a mission to build a new wall or round up women and children or detain those escaping violent countries. He says California's National Guard will not be enforcing immigration laws. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The number of dead in a bus crash involving a junior hockey team in Canada has risen to 16 as the family of Dana Bronze, who worked as the team's trainer, says she died from her injuries. Major League Baseball has announced the host of the 2020 MLB All-Star Game.
After rumors Tuesday, L.A. is officially hosting the Midsummer Classic.
For this is more than steel, concrete, dirt, and grass. This is our home, and we can't wait.
A legendary Vince Scully there in a video posted to the Dodgers social media pages announcing Dodger Stadium as the host of the MLB All-Star Game in 2020. It will mark the first time Dodger Stadium has hosted the All-Star festivities since 1980. The Los Angeles City Council estimates that the All-Star Game in 2020 and its associated events will generate an $89 million impact for the city. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
Mitzi Shore, the owner of the Los Angeles club The Comedy Store and one of the most influential figures in stand-up comedy for more than 4 decades, has died. She was 87. Virtually every major comic, from Richard Pryor to Robin Williams to Jerry Seinfeld, used the club as a stepping stone along the way. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
Let's Talk Radio would like to remind you that if at first you don't succeed,
I got it.
Don't try skydiving. WBHM-DB Clearwater. Let's talk.
The hour, and you are back on Let's Talk Radio with Paranormal Experienced. I am Kat Hobson, your host, and I am joined tonight by 2 of my favorite people to investigate with. Let's rephrase that. Sorry, guys. And that would be 2 of the Tennessee Wraithchasers, the founder, Chris Smith, and the tech guru, audio guru, and new to get in front of the camera, Mike Goncalves. Welcome back, guys.
Hey.
And sorry about the investigating you. That was supposed to be private. Oh, embarrassment. But just kidding. But, we were talking about all kinds of things. And I just think that people in chat are just enjoying you guys so much. And thanks for taking all these questions and being so kind and just awesome with it. Of course, I knew you would be. Y'all always are.
Our pleasure. I don't think there's anything we won't answer. I mean, we haven't been pushed to that limit yet, but
well, I wasn't. I was asked on the last radio interview if it was boxers or briefs, but that's about the only thing I won't answer.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, what did you say? That was kind of bold. So I promise not to ask you that, but I can't speak for Brenda or Laura.
Well, Brenda and Laura, I'm a brief guy, just to let you know. Hey, we're talking fried chicken and chocolate cake. I'm going to let it all out of the bag tonight.
Well, there you go. I'm going to ask y'all if y'all can get a little bit closer again. And we have another question for you in chat. And it's from Laura. She says, I'm sure you get these questions all the time, so you know how many spirits might feel, LOL. But have you ever, this is interesting, have you ever encountered a malevolent spirit or entity, and if so, where?
Ooh. Well, okay. I'm going to pass this over to Chris for this one.
I would say, maybe once, and that was at Banner Elk, North Carolina, when we investigated Cannon Memorial Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
We went there, season 1, Ghost Asylum, and Brandon had an experience. I'm sure that if anybody watches the show, they're probably familiar with this experience.
Yes.
Where he just he got very frustrated. He kind of lost it there for a little bit. And I don't necessarily believe that he was in any way, possessed or taken over. A lot of people ask us that. I don't think that was the case at all. But I think what it was is a combination of a few different things. Brandon was having a bad day. He had an argument with the producer that day. But something about this location, it just had this sense of, I don't know, it was like frustration in the air. It's like everybody was on edge. It wasn't just Brandon, But I think Brandon kind of got the brunt of it just because he was having a bad day, and it fed off of that energy, whatever energy he was putting off. But we were all kind of, snippety with each other. And, I just think that whatever is in canon, it kind of fed off of our emotions, especially Brandon. I think that's probably the closest thing that I've ever experienced to a malevolent entity.
I know that when I watched that, I just felt so bad for him because it was obvious that he wasn't controlling that situation. And the care that you had for him, I know you're his brother, but it was still so amazing to watch because that was love and taking care of him. And it was really neat.
It really scared me because I had never seen Brandon act that way. If anybody's ever met Brandon or knows Brandon, he's a very sweet kid and a very kind-hearted person. Never, I can probably count on one hand how many times I've seen him lose his cool. Obviously, that was number one.
Right.
But
he's
a very calm, very kind, very easygoing person. So to see him react in that way was, especially growing up with him since he was born, and that being the first time I'd ever experienced that was very scary for me and emotional for me being his big brother. I didn't know how to react. I think that's why I reacted so emotionally about it.
Well, it was an emotional moment. I mean, he was having a battle of whatever nature. And it was just astounding. I thought that was cool. And I thought how you dealt with it was cool. Not that it happened to him was cool.
I'll never forget Porter. Whenever that happened, at the time I was like, "What are you doing?" But later on, it was kind of funny. But Porter went to put his arm around Brandon during that, and then you could see he had a K2 meter in his hand, and he was like trying to get readings off of Brandon.
Oh my gosh, I missed that.
He was. I'm not sure if it was on the show or if I just saw it, but it was. As a matter of fact, I think it was. But it was just funny because he was trying to console him, but at the same time, he's like looking at his K2, like, let's see if something's going on.
Still
here.
Doing his job, even in the moment.
Yeah. Right.
Oh man, that's got to be an amazing thing. I have felt like when I was in the home doing a private investigation that there was something that was unpleasant, not necessarily evil incarnate, right? But just something that was being pretty assertive. And it was tough to step back enough and keep the maintaining of the same level and figure out how to deal with it. And basically, I was just, because it felt like there were other spirits trapped, and I was just like, nothing has dominion over you but God. Nothing here does. And if you feel like you need to go, you don't have to stay here. And it was just like this big rush of wind, and the people that were sitting beside me on the couch left. So they were out of there. But, it's just, you never know what you're going to find in any location. And with that being said, Brenda wants to know if you have a DVD of your investigations for sale. Do you have your shows out on DVD?
If you actually on eBay, there's stuff there, but I think it comes from overseas, if I'm not mistaken. But I think that's
Brazil.
the only DVD of Ghost Asylum, that is. But everything else, I think if you get on the Destination America Go app, they're constantly running reruns, so you can watch all of Ghost Asylum and Haunted Towns. And it's a free app, and it streams for free. So just download Destination America Go, and they're running reruns all the time.
Well, cool.
It's funny. Mike was talking about overseas and people having a show. we have a huge following in Brazil.
Yes,
over
you
in
do.
South America. It's crazy. Like, we have so many people in Brazil that are huge fans. And Chad from Ghost Hunt Weekends Facebook messaged me last night a video clip of of the dub over in Brazil of our voices, and it's so hilarious to watch.
Oh my
it's like,
God!
If you've ever seen,
if you go to Brazil, everybody's going to think Chris is like, well, hey.
It's to go with those photographs. They match the voice to the photographs.
Well, it's like this. If you've ever seen Toy Story, where they switch Buzz Lightyear to the Spanish mode, that's what it's like. That's what it's like watching it. And it's so funny. Like, they're going to be so disappointed because we're trying to put something together right now over in Brazil. I don't know if it's going to happen. It's all, very up in the air. But if we do and we go over there and they hear me talk like in my regular voice, they're all going to be like, who is this guy?
I don't think they'll be disappointed at all, because I'm going to tell you, when I say that I have your fans that come to me about y'all, and you have to, I know that y'all know, I don't really post pictures. I have pictures of where we've been at events and stuff like that, but those are for me, right? I don't really post very many of them. And so I find it funny that all of these people are actually reaching out to me, and they added me. I am a member of the Chris from Tennessee Wraithchasers fan club from Brazil.
Oh, God.
I was added to that group. Mike's in there too. And, it's just pretty amazing. And I think that they're very, very nice. Nobody has been inappropriate about you. The photographs are not inappropriate that they have. And I think some of them are listening, because I just got word that new connections have arrived. And I wanted to invite them into our chat room at letstalkradio.net. You'll see down in the bottom right the live chat buttons. You can just hit that and come on in. But you do have a huge fan base, and you have a huge U.S. fan base too. I just think it's kind of neat that people are trying to let y'all know how much it means. And I think it's amazing of you that you are reaching out to try to give them opportunities to enjoy y'all and your merchandise, because they want the merchandise. They can't get it there. And,
right.
I think it's nice that you're working with that.
Yeah, no, we've been very blessed when it comes to people watching us and hanging out with us. Like I said, we don't really consider them fans, more so friends. Some of them even family. There are people that come to almost every single one of our events. They almost never miss an event, just because they know they know how it is. You come to one of our events, it's going to be like a family get together. It's going to be like a hangout. Yeah, we're going to investigate and we're going to try to get some evidence, but they know that we're there to have a good time and that this is what we love to do. And, I think they genuinely love to do it with us, and vice versa. So it's just a lot of fun. I think that's basically our motto is, you got to love what you do and you got to have fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was fortunate enough to see you interact with some of those fans that are your family when we were doing the Paulding jail last year, when we went to Indianapolis for the night before. They were wonderful for y'all. They absolutely, totally feel like your family, and y'all treat them just like that too. Y'all feel that way too. And you don't see a lot of that. You really don't. Because I'm around a lot of people in your position from different areas of the paranormal. I cover all sorts of anomalous research, and y'all have to be the most people-friendly people I've seen, and I think that's neat. That's why I like you so much.
Oh, well, thank you.
Well, I have nothing to do with it. That's just what you do. So, and it's nice.
You made us blush.
Oh, I don't believe that. But I mean, because you know how you treat people. It's pretty cool. And that being said, we have new people in chat. We have a fantastic question that I think is fun. And we'll be asking you that right after we get back from this break. Y'all come back.
Got to prepare for it.
Take a deep breath.
We interrupt our scheduled programming to bring you the following conspiracy theory. Humpty Dumpty was pushed. WBHM-DB, Clearwater. Let's talk. Terry Lovelace is a 64-year-old retired lawyer and former assistant attorney general. The earliest alien experience Terry can recall was when he was 8 years old. Incident at Devil's Den. In May of 1963, he saw a UFO and described it as a perfect silver disc. 3 years later, on a clear night, he saw a second flying disc outside his second-story bedroom window. Incident at Devil's Den. In 1975, while serving as a medic in the Air Force, he witnessed yet another UFO hovering 50 feet over an ICBM missile silo. Incident at Devil's Den. 2 years later, while he and a friend were camped in an isolated state park known as Devil's Den, Terry had a life-changing fourth encounter. Not only did Terry and a friend witness an estimated 5-story high UFO, but this fourth encounter would be an epic, life-altering event. Incident at Devil's Den by Terry Lovelace. Digital download or paperback now available on Amazon. Coming soon with your support. Preacher 6 is a small-town preacher that is summoned to the big city where he ends up fighting evil in a literal sense. The characters that he meets along the journey are something special and unique. They could all have their own films made about them. If you like original content that is driven by action and amazing writing, you must support the film Preacher 6. No remakes, redos, sequels, or do-overs for us. Let's take film back. If you like Quentin Tarantino-type films, then you will love Preacher 6. Preacher 6 is like Taxi Driver meets Sin City meets The Prophecy. So please be a part of something awesome. Sometimes darkness just needs a few well-placed bullets. Preacher 6. Support this new film at Indiegogo.com and search Preacher 6. That's Indiegogo.com, Preacher 6. Support it, and let's take film back. Shopping, dining, beautiful lakes and rivers, and a monster? Welcome to Braxton County, West Virginia. Centrally located, Braxton County, West Virginia is the ideal place to visit. Natural beauty and recreation abound with 2 beautiful lakes for easy kayaking and canoeing, and many hiking trails. Did we mention the Flatwoods Monster? That's right. Visit Braxton County, West Virginia's Flatwoods Monster Museum. And not only learn about the Flatwoods Monster, but walk in the same footsteps as the people who witnessed it. Nearly all of our attractions can be found within a few miles of Interstate 79. Visit us online at braxtonwv.org. That's braxtonwv.org. Braxton County, West Virginia. Center yourself here. Of all the radio stations in the world, we're one of them. WGOG Digital Broadcasting. Let's talk.
And you're back listening to Paranormal Experience Radio. I'm Kat Hobson, your host, and I am having the best time tonight. I hope y'all are too. Listening to the Tennessee Wraithchasers, Chris Smith, who is the founder, and Mike Goncalves, who does technical things and who is a musician, has great audio skills, and just pretty awesome guys, both of them. We have more questions if y'all are up for the challenge. Did you take a deep breath while you were gone?
I did. We're now breathing. Let's bring on this. I don't know. We should be scared? Should we be scared?
I'm now practicing Lamaze.
Well, there you go. You're ready for anything. But the first
My
one.
water broke. Bring it on.
Oh, no, don't do that. I just went through that. I saw my first person born 2 weeks ago, and that's my grandson, who's also named Braxton, not after the town. But, yeah, and I didn't pass out. I was so excited that I didn't pass out. I was so worried about that. Coolest thing I've ever seen. I'd never even seen a cow born.
Oh.
So.
I've seen many cows.
Well, I saw them starting, and I saw them after the fact because I had to turn the truck around and go back. But that's another story. But, roller coaster, jump from a plane, or bungee jumping? Which one?
All right. Repeat those three again.
Roller coaster, jumping from a plane, or bungee jumping?
What would you rather do or not do?
Which would you choose to do if you had to pick between any of those?
I'll take the roller coaster. The roller coaster. I always wanted to bungee jump, but I'm afraid.
I'm afraid.
Not for the fall. It's just for the bungee breaking.
It's the landing. It's not the fall. It's the landing.
That's the excitement of it, I guess. But I guess we would choose roller coaster.
Yeah, definitely.
Not the one for the state fair where they put up overnight either.
No. Although I've been on plenty of those, right? So, but that was before I learned that they just absolutely do it that fast.
Yeah.
And but I'm with you. At least with a roller coaster, you're fairly attached to the ground. So
yeah, and if I go down, there's like 30 other people that are going to go down with me.
You won't be alone. And then
That's
you'll
right.
be able to have stories to tell, right?
All right.
From the other side.
Right on.
But we have another question. And this one, I think I know what your answers are going to be to this, but I'm interested to see if I'm right. Aaron says, with all the crazy times and your fast-paced schedule, what keeps y'all grounded?
I think paranormal radio shows.
No wonder I like you so much.
I think the day-to-day, got there, during the week, for the most part, we have the regular schedules, get up, do the gym. Now that summer's coming, maybe get some lake time and do some fishing during the week here and there. But church when we can on Sundays and family life, that keeps me grounded.
Mowing the grass.
Yeah, mowing our own grass.
Just
we can't afford to have people mow. Yeah. So we're just regular folk that do the same routines everybody else does. Pay bills, cut our grass, and hit the lake when we can.
I tell you, I love that. I knew that it had to be family time because you all are so home oriented, or you seem to be, and I really like that because if you lose that, I've seen people lose that in what y'all do. And
well, I mean, even sometimes you have to schedule it. I know that sounds crazy, but, and it's like years ago you didn't have to schedule family time. It just happened. It was your day-to-day, but now it's like, all right, baby, I'm busy for the next 2 weeks. So next Wednesday we're having a date night, or whatever it may be. But it's like, if you have to schedule it. But it's like, you need that.
Well, you do. When we had
like normally Wednesdays is Survivor night, but not tonight.
And it's appreciated. And I appreciate that. Make sure she knows that.
My scheduled family time just got nixed. No, it's all good. But I'm recording it, so I'm going to watch it Sunday when I get home. And my family night has moved to Sunday evening.
Well, thank you for that.
And Chris said that's when The Walking Dead comes on.
True that. Ooh, have y'all been to that location?
I can say I have never seen one episode of The Walking Dead.
Me either.
Ever.
Me either. I don't like goo and gore.
It's all on Netflix. It's all on Netflix. All you got to do is go to Netflix. You can watch it from day one.
I'm good.
You got to tune in to AMC on Sunday nights. I think it's 8:00 or something. But no, and you know what? It's one of those shows that I got hooked on early on. I think now I'm not as big a fan as I used to be. You know, after you're on air for, 8 seasons now, 8 or 9, it's like, you got to start getting creative, and I think maybe they got a little too creative. But I still watch it. I still follow it. That and maybe a handful of other shows are the only things that I ever watch on television, because we don't have a lot of time for that. But that and Andy Griffith is basically my television.
Always Andy Griffith. There's always time for Mayberry.
That's what I mean. It's reruns, old shows. The only show that's on regularly that I watch is Survivor when it's on. I've never missed an episode. I've actually auditioned for Survivor years back, and maybe one day I'll do it again. But that's my show.
I just think that's cool. I have seen an episode of Survivor, and sometimes it's just a little bit weird from what I understand. My husband watches sports, and as he says, there's 167 games, and that's all he gets each year of the Braves. And yeah, I didn't really fall for that, but he thought I did. So he works really hard, and if he wants to come home from work and watch the Braves, then by jingo, he's going to get to do that.
You do it. You do what makes you happy.
Yeah, he's a good husband. So anything that helps him unwind like that is just totally cool. But we have more questions for you.
Bring them on.
And this one I really like, and I don't know what your answer will be. What's your favorite thing about the paranormal community?
Oh, man. Paranormal community.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's you never know what you're going to get. There's such a plethora of people that are involved in it. You got people of all walks of life. You got regular people who, go to regular jobs and they just have kind of an interest or a curiosity, all the way to the other spectrum of people who are just immersed in it. It's their life. It's their everything. Some people that are so immersed in it, when they come up and start talking to me about it, I'm like, why don't you have a show? Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. It's just such a diverse group of individuals that are interested in it. And I think it's because so many people have had experiences throughout their lives, whether it be when they were younger or maybe they're just curious. Brandon didn't ever have an experience. That's not what got Brandon into this. He was just curious. But it's just the diversity, I think, and just it's a huge thing now. I mean, it used to be just, Jason and Grant and Zach and Nick and Aaron, and now it's like this huge thing that so many people are a part of and are so passionate about, and just listening to the different people from different walks of life and the diversity and just being able to meet, all these different types of people. I mean, that's a joy really for us. I mean, some people you kind of got to chuckle at.
True.
Some people are really into it, and then some people just are like, "Hey, man, love your show. I think what you guys are doing is cool. I've never had an experience, but I'm open to it." So you get all types of different walks of life.
And it's like going to an Aerosmith concert. You got kids that show up that are under 10, and you got we've had people at events that are 80 and 90. And
wow.
I think this kind of falls into the same question. But we met an older couple, and the gentleman he knew he didn't have long to live. He had cancer, and he loved the show. So he watched the show, and it was his bucket list to do a ghost hunt with us. And I mean, I'm talking about it getting choked up, but just the other day we got word that he passed away. But he got to fulfill his bucket list, and he came on an investigation with us. He came to a couple, and but he just recently passed away. So it's like meeting people like that.
Right.
It kind of turns you around, It's like, wow, it's like we're us we're fulfilling your dream. You know, it's like, here's a guy that lived a long, good life, you know, and he was happy. He was at peace where he was at, you know. He knew he didn't have long to live, and he was like, I'm good with it, man. I'm good with it. I mean, he was just a down-to-earth guy, and, I mean, we're the ones that were like, we're all choked up talking to the guy, and, you know, but it's just like meeting people like that. It makes you really appreciate what you do, and so it's like, yeah, there's character people of all ages and stuff, but it's like meeting somebody like that kind of changes you. Yeah, it changes you. It's like, you know, in a good way.
Yeah, I can see that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, but I mean, our prayers are with his wife. I mean, and it just happened, I think, yesterday. As a matter of fact, he passed on.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, we were hoping that he would. They're local. They're close to us. We were hoping that he would have been around a little longer, because we have some local stuff coming up soon that, you know, where hopefully he could have came out. But he at least got to come to 2 events. So, I mean, he was happy. I think everybody around him was the sad ones, but he was a happy guy and he was at peace, so that was good.
Well, you know, when somebody is a blessing to you like that, then, you know, they're thinking they're getting the blessing, and they're the blessing to you. That's just beautiful. And so amazing. Can I ask where he got to investigate with you?
Yeah, he did the Thomas House Hotel in Red Boiling Springs, and he came out to Rosemont Mansion in Gallatin.
That is so cool. So he didn't have to go terribly far to be able to enjoy either one. That's beautiful.
And he hung out like a champ. You know, he did everything with us, and he took the stairs in the mansion. Like, you know, he's like, I want every part of this, and he did it.
That's amazing and cool. I'm so glad that y'all got to enjoy him, and vice versa.
Right. Exactly.
And I'm just going to put out there for the people listening that this is why I just think so much of you guys, because that matters.
I don't know if John's listening. We met John over Christmas. He was over in Indiana, and I don't even know if I can tell this story without getting choked up.
Yeah, John, he's got cerebral palsy, and he's a big fan. He got his caretaker got in touch with Mike and said that he really, really wanted to meet us. His 2 favorite things are ghost hunting and CWC, and then the Cubs.
Oh, cool!
And we're like, she was like, "Is there any way that we can get you guys, you know, up here to do something or send him something?" And I think we first just sent some shirts or something, or some photos. And he sent us a video thanking us for it. And then after we watched that video, we're like, all right, we got to go see this guy. So, you know, we drove and surprised him. It was right before Christmas. We got him a couple gifts, wrapped them up, and just kind of, you know, spent a couple hours with the guy. And it's just such a good feeling whenever you meet somebody who their condition, you know, it's just, this guy actually donated every penny that he had to this other charity that helped, you know, children who had heart conditions. And he had this whole wall of pictures or photos of children that he donated his money to, you know, help them with their condition. And this guy, he's in a wheelchair. He can't really care for himself, but, you know, he's one of the best guys we've ever met. You know, he just really had a story to tell. So happy, you know, not complaining, just, it really kind of puts you in your place when you meet someone like that who is just such a beautiful person and doesn't have anything to complain about. And, you know, we complain about the dumbest things in the world from a day-to-day basis, and then you meet John and you're just like, what am I complaining about?
There you go.
This guy, you know, this guy's happy and just loving life, and his condition, it's just like, wow, it really makes you take a step back. So that's one of the other blessings about being able to do this and to be on television and to be able to do what we do, is you get to meet people like John
And on June 2nd, we're going to be in Scottsville, and John's going to be able to investigate with us. So
How
him
cool
and
is
his
that?
caretaker, yeah, they're coming out, and I think he's going to come out a little early, and we're going to, hopefully he's not listening right now. I should take that back, because there's some stuff that's a surprise for the guy. But come on. But if he is, I guess it's the surprise out of the bag. But yeah, I mean, that meeting him was a highlight for all of us. Especially, I mean, if you watch the show and we do our fist bump to the big man and we do a prayer, and we got in a circle with John, and John led the prayer, and there was
waterworks.
There was
No doubt.
I in that house, man. I mean, the guy he's a beautiful spirit, and I mean, we are all blessed to meet the guy, and I mean, we can't wait for June 2nd, to investigate with him. And hopefully you can come out, anybody else listening, come out and you can meet him too, and this guy will turn your life around.
Well,
yeah, so maybe that answers your question.
I think that pretty much covers everything, because
we could go on and on about the fans.
Yeah. And people know that. Like I said, I watch, I see people interact with y'all, and I pay attention. It's just amazing. And, unfortunately, I'm going to be on the other side of the country on June 2nd. And it's not unfortunately, I'm very excited to be going there, but I hate that I am missing an event with y'all because I enjoy them so much.
Well, all you got to do is cancel it.
Huh? My plane ticket is bought, and I've been booked into the room, and they already sent my media passes, and I would still to meet that guy and just see him interact.
I'm sure you will at some point. I think we can talk him into coming to another event.
Well, I'm counting on it. I really am, because we've gotten started in chat here, and if you're listening and you're not in there, you're missing a great conversation on para-unity, which is, I think, important. I don't know if it's actually going to get there because people are so protective of their evidence and stuff, but we will see what happens with that. I hope so, because there's no reason that everybody can't be enjoying those feelings with each other. And if you're always competing, then you're not really caring. And I think the caring is what matters. So, and y'all do that really well.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's not competing. I mean, we're not football teams here trying to win, because at the end, nobody's going to win anyway, because, there's nobody knows the answer.
That's right.
And it depends on your faith. Maybe we're not supposed to know the answer,
That was mentioned in chat earlier too. And I think that I'm of that like mind, but it's just really hard. I was talking with somebody that's been a parapsychologist for decades, and when I was mentioning the para-unity, he said, well, that's a great thing, but there are no standards. There's no units of measure. There's no definitive way to investigate and things like that. And I'm like, well, that's really not where I was going with that. I was going to the attitudes, but because he is on the science side, it was an interesting conversation. But I think that it's turning that way. We just did a little contest for people to submit paranormal evidence, and we didn't get very many, but the winner is going to be starting his show here on the network. Just toot sweet. He's amazing, and it's going to be great. So that was one of the prizes, was a year's show here on Let's Talk Radio.
And, very cool.
Yeah, the dude is amazing. He's going to be excellent. So his name is Tony, and he is an EVP expert. So going to be good. And we are actually getting really close to our final station break. I wanted to ask you, when you've done all of these locations, we've had questions about the scariest and questions about almost everything. the very best evidence that you got that was on film, that was documented on film, what was that to you?
That was actually, I know the surface of it was Brandon catching it on accident, right? Where was that at?
You're talking about St. Vincent's? But did you say that something that wasn't on film? Can you? That was.
That was the actual documented best evidence that you pulled out of all of that.
For me, it was at St. Vincent's Mental Home, like Mike was saying. That was Ghost Asylum Season 1. That was in Oklahoma. And Brandon was kind of haphazardly walking through the hospital as he does. Brandon kind of, he doesn't, and I think he fakes the ghosts out. He doesn't really pay attention to what he's filming. He just kind of, walks around with a camera in his hand. And I think they're not expecting him. And he surprises them because we caught this great apparition. It was a full-bodied apparition, but you could almost see through it. And Doogie calls it Aquaman because it almost looks like he's water. And what happens is Brandon stops for a second, and his camera's facing the hallway, but he's not looking at the hallway. And what you see is the shape of a man. He walks through the wall, stops, looks at Brandon. You can see the head turn. And then continues walking through another wall, and it looks like he's dragging somebody behind it. And it was creepy as heck.
Oh, my gosh.
I remember Doogie is the one who found it. He was the one going over Brandon's evidence. And I'll never forget the day that he found it and called me about it. And was like, dude, you got to see this. This is nuts. And he was trying to videotape it on his phone and send it to me. I had to come over there and look at it for myself because the phone video didn't do it justice. But I think we still have that somewhere, so we can actually make that available if anybody's curious to see it, because I think somewhere there's a YouTube video of it, and it's just phenomenal. I mean, to me, that's the best visual evidence we've ever caught.
Too cool. And you know what? We are up against our final station break, so we'll be back. It's going to be about 2 minutes, and we will see you on the other side. Y'all enjoy these messages.
In a world of many voices, there's just one that needs to be heard. Yours. Join the conversation at letstalkradio.net. Haunted, a psychic story by author and radio host Ariel Grace. This is not your average book of hauntings. Haunted, a psychic story is written from a psychic perspective and contains true stories and some handy tips. Written in 3 parts, Haunted, a psychic story contains chilling adventures, advice from the archangels, and helpful tips used by Ariel Grace to clear haunted homes around the globe. Haunted, a psychic story is available on Amazon, or you can download straight to your Kindle. Haunted, a psychic story by Ariel Grace. Get your copy today.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has delivered a one-of-a-kind reading experience, covering everything from psychics, UFOs, paranormal investigations, and more. To subscribe, visit fatemag.com or call 828-702-3032. That's 828-702-3032. Subscribe and find your true reports of the strange and unknown at fatemag.com.
While the other stations are run from high-rises in the city, we're programmed from a little bungalow on Windtree Drive. LetsTalkRadio.net.
Are back with Paranormal Experience Radio. I'm Kat, your host, and I'm joined by Chris and Mike from the Tennessee Wraithchasers. And we are, and I'm glad to have y'all. Thank you for being here. I've had so much fun with you. And the reactions to that last experience with the evidence got people's attention. They are just so interested in that. And I've got to tell you, the creep factor on that is intense. I am looking forward to you finding that and sharing that. Because
we'll have to dig it up and we'll post it on our page or something like that for everybody to check it out. It's there somewhere for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing that. When you do, is it okay if I share it on the radio page?
Absolutely.
For the listeners to see?
As we're talking, Chris is looking for it right now. So hopefully if he can find it, then maybe by the end of the show we'll have it up on our page.
That would be cool.
And scare the heck out of it.
It would scare the heck out of me. Just
me too.
Just to be shocked by it. I think the shock factor is what would get it. And I just think that's pretty interesting. But I did not expect that answer when I asked that question. That's intense. But, well, I know a lot about your events coming up because I try to go to them, but you want to share some of them so people know where to come and investigate with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, next week is sold out, but
True.
Actually this year we're doing a lot with Chad and Ghost Hunt Weekends. So, I mean, you can always go to TWC Facebook page. You can go to Ghost Hunt Weekends, visit them. Chad has some amazing deals going on. You can make payments or whatever for stuff. So check that out. But next week is Moon River Brewery in Savannah, Georgia. Then actually the end of the month, we're going to be here in Gallatin. We're going to be doing Square Fest. That's free for everybody. It's a big down home get together on the square, food vendors, live music, and we're just going to have our tent up there hanging out with everybody. Coming up in May, first weekend in May, we're going to be celebrating Cinco de Mayo at Missouri State Pen. There's still tickets available for that.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I love that place. What is that? The 12th, the following week, we're going to be at the Exchange Hotel in Gordonsville, Virginia. After that, the 19th, Chris is actually going to be in New Jersey, and Brandon and myself are going to be at EnigmaCon. So we're kind of splitting up stuff on that one. And at the end of the month, we're going to be at Beatty Mansion. That's up in Missouri also. And that one is going to be a small investigation. So if you want to get tickets for that, there's only a few left.
And that's our first time investigating it. So that'll be.
And what's that date?
Yeah. That's actually the 26th of May. Yep. There's only a few tickets left, and it's small investigation. It's not going to be one of those 100 people investigations. So come out to that. The second, we're going to be with our buddy John. If you've been listening, we're going to be at Scottsville on the 2nd. What do we have coming up on the 16th
of June? On the 16th of June, we got that con in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah. Con in Lexington, we'll be at that. End of the month, we're at Octagon Hall. I think that's sold out.
Yeah, and then in July, on the 13th and 14th, we're going to be in Hawaii.
I saw that. Y'all had this thing for Hawaii.
Yeah, we love Hawaii.
Yeah.
And
that was a great
there
episode,
are tickets
too.
available for that. So if anybody wants to join us in Hawaii, that would be on point. I mean, it's Hawaii, so you got that. But the history of, and just, you can go on for days of everything in Hawaii. It's amazing. The end of the month, we're in June. So the 28th, is that July. We're at Rosemont here in Gallatin. And that one, there's still a few tickets left for Rosemont, and that place is off the hook. So we had some crazy evidence there, too. Where are we in August? We got
Oklahoma Paracon on the 4th. We've got on the 11th, we're going to Lake Shawnee with Chad. Go something.
I'm going to be there with that one.
Yeah, are you going to camp out and bring your tent?
I bought a tent just for the event. Yep.
Does it sleep all of us?
Well, if we're all really scared, it will. It's a one-person tent. But my daughter told me that was ridiculous. I need to buy a bigger tent.
Yeah, I think we're doing the camp out. That's going to be off the hook. We've heard good stories about that place. August 18th, we're going to Rolling Hills. You haven't been there since season, 2 of Ghost Asylum, right?
I think so.
Let me see.
I haven't heard about you going back.
In September 8th, Paulding Jail. That's also going to be with, that's with Chad. Yeah, but is that with Steve and Tango, or is that one just Steve?
I can't remember.
I think that one's Steve. I think Steve's going to be with us on that. Shawnee is going to be Steve and Tango with us.
Right.
Okay. Or no, they're both. No, take that back. I think that's the Battleship.
Yeah.
They're
going to be at the Battleship and Shawnee.
Yeah. Oh, then we go to Scarefest. We're going to be at Scarefest. And Scarefest is actually early this year, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, it's earlier than normal. And then after Scarefest, Battleship North Carolina. I think that one's with Steve and Tango.
And then
That's
on the
28th,
we have tomorrow we're going to announce what we've got on the 28th, actually. That's that next weekend in September. On the 28th, we got a big event coming up. We're going to announce it tomorrow. So everybody check the Facebook page, Instagram, all that stuff. That one's going to be a really cool one that we've never had a lot of people involved in. So let's make sure that you check that one out. And then we're going into the Halloween month, October. And we've got Main Street Festival. That's another Gallatin thing. It's a hometown thing on the 6th. It's on a Saturday. If you're in Gallatin, it's a huge event where a lot of local people come out. They bring, their local businesses out into the street, and everybody has a good time. They got food. They got entertainment. We're going to be out there with merch and different things, so you want to check that out. And then that very next weekend, I'll be at the Shooting Star Casino with Porter at a Paracon that we're going to do there. That's always a good time. I was there last year. Phenomenal event. You're going to want to hang out and show up there. And then I think at the end of the month, around Halloween, we're trying to work something out with Chad. So possible Ghost Hunt weekend / TWC event coming out the end of October. And
that'll be fun.
That one in November, I don't know if we can announce this one just yet. So we're going to hold
Oh, you're slamming.
on that.
That's my birthday month. I should get to know about that already.
If you talk to Chad, I'm sure he'll tell you. The little hint for the one that's announced tomorrow. Somebody asked about it earlier, way early. I think like 10 minutes after we started tonight. So there'll be your hint, but it's going to be an amazing event.
Well, I'm excited because anytime I get to investigate where y'all are, I learn stuff, and I enjoy that a lot. And
this year we're doing. Excited because there's a lot of places we've never been to. The one that's announced tomorrow, some of us I think have been, some of us have not. Octagon Hall. One that's also coming up in October is Bobby Mackey's. We've never investigated that.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Bobby Mackey's. Yeah. That's sold out, but that's been on our bucket list. We haven't been there. So it's like this year, the Battleship North Carolina, we've never been there. I've never been to Moon River. So there's a lot of new places for ourselves. So it's not like old hat for us and new stuff for fans coming out, A lot of these places we're going to be investigating for the first time together. So that's really cool.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah, we love doing that because it's like, what should we expect tonight? And we're like, we don't know. We're going in this fresh together.
Your guess is as good as ours.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of things, we have a couple of events that we couldn't even announce just because they haven't been announced formally yet. So just keep checking the TWC Facebook page and the website. We've got more events coming. Just keep up to date because we're pretty much going all over this year. It's going to be a good time.
You are just everywhere, and I've got to tell you, I got a feeling you're going to have so many people joining you. Y'all are a lot of fun to investigate with. You bring the fun.
We're good people, Kat. We're good people.
You are good people. I keep telling you that, right? But I appreciate y'all being here so much because I have had a terrific time talking with you and learning some of your different experiences. Y'all are just fun. I enjoy when we get to be at the same event, and it's never boring. Y'all are just amazing, amazing people. So that being said,
we try.
Well, you do good, and I'll see you guys next weekend. So,
You got it, girl. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Y'all have a terrific evening.
Oh, you as well, and everybody listening. You guys have a good night, too. Thank you so much for listening.
We'll catch you in 2018, everybody.
Absolutely, all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all all know, listeners, thank y'all so much for being here. Chat, y'all are just amazing. I love the conversations in there, and I will see you next weekend. Same cat time, same cat channel with John D'Souza. So take care. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.